Some people build companies, some people build movements, but some people spend decades building an entirely new framework for identity, technology, and human development.
Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're unpacking the life and work of an independent creator to really understand the OneGodian ecosystem. Now, this isn't just a basic website. It's a massive digital, philosophical, and operational architecture. And get this, it was designed and built over decades by a single founder and systems architect, Gregory Lamar Jones. Let's look at exactly what it takes to build an institutional-grade infrastructure, literally from the ground up.
Okay, let's dive into this. We're talking about a multi-decade journey here. Just picture the early 2000s. Late nights, stacked notebooks everywhere, the glow of a heavy computer monitor illuminating a dark room. For years, Gregory Lamar Jones was quietly, obsessively studying philosophy, technology, governance, and identity. This wasn't some sudden weekend passion project. No way. This was a long-term, independent development path to architect a totally new system for human interaction and self-governance. And it all culminates in the massive 2026 global platform deployment we're seeing today.
To really grasp the sheer scale of this, we have to look back at the years between 2001 and 2009. These were the foundational years, the years of quiet study. During this time, Jones was mapping out a framework that tried to merge spiritual alignment, and by that, I mean connecting a person's individual purpose with broader ethical values, with interconnected digital systems. It's almost like a giant puzzle. And all of that intense research into theology, ethics, and system architecture, well, it led to a massive breakthrough. The creation of the actual word and the core concept of OneGodian back in 2009. This essentially became level 0 of his entire ecosystem.
Now, what's really interesting to note here is the concrete legal proof. Looking at the official 2013 U.S. copyright registration for the word OneGodian, it clearly documents its completion in 2009 as a work of text and artwork. Why does this matter? Well, it validates the founder's long-term timeline. It literally proves that this philosophical framework was developed completely independently over nearly 2 decades. There was no major corporate backing, no institutional funding, just pure, long-term persistence. So, with the philosophy locked in, Jones needed a way to actually bring it into the real world. That's when he architected what he calls the institutional layer. In October 2017, he set up the indigenous nation of OneGodia, or INO, and that was specifically to handle the community side, the cultural continuity, and historical documentation. But here's the really smart part. To execute the actual business side of things like publishing, e-commerce, and software, he formed OneGodian LLC in Connecticut on April 11, 2018. This separation is absolutely crucial. It ensures the business and infrastructure execution stays completely distinct from the community's social and belief-based participation.
Okay, so with the legal framework good to go, the true building phase kicked off. Imagine glowing screens, endless lines of code running, digital infrastructure finally activating. Jones, operating strictly as a single-member LLC, started constructing a massive digital reality. I mean, we're talking about building and deploying 18 separate software platforms and managing over 50 GitHub repositories. He was taking static documents and translating them into living, dynamic institutional systems. Doing all of this as a single-member entity, that is a staggering workload for one person. It really highlights his intense, unwavering focus on independently laying the foundation.
And this brilliantly illustrates the results. The ecosystem he built is incredibly vast. First, you have OneGodian.org, which serves as the public home for identity and education. Then there's the OMOS, that's the metaphysical operating system, designed to handle incredibly complex philosophical and operational data. The primary dashboard for all of this is app.onegodian.com. Plus, there's the OneGodian University, structurally built to handle 40 to 60 production-ready courses. And beneath the whole shebang sits a custom API and the Odin registry. That's basically an immutable classification system to securely track digital assets across the entire network. Honestly, it's an astonishing level of institutional-grade architecture for a solo founder without a massive tech team behind him.
Now, we can't talk about the ecosystem without touching on its advanced scientific philosophy, specifically something called trace logic. In simple terms, trace logic treats the observable universe like a massive data interface. Think of it kind of like wearing a virtual reality headset, rather than experiencing a fundamental, purely physical reality. The OneGodian framework actually uses this concept to govern its infrastructure. By treating the universe itself as an information system that processes finite data, the platform aims to create highly verifiable systems, like its hyper-conscious intelligence, that interface seamlessly with the real world.
Mind-bending stuff, right? Let's move to and see how this builds into the future. After years of coding and digital world building, the project reached a huge strategic pivot in 2026. The digital infrastructure? It's already built. It's narrative-heavy, infinitely scalable, full of cloud-based APIs. But to actually scale across media, technology, and commerce, the ecosystem needed to transition out of the purely digital space and into the physical world. So the next essential step is securing a stable, physical headquarters, a real-world operational foundation to ground all these massive digital systems.
The blueprint for this creative headquarters is, as you'd expect, extremely comprehensive. First off, it's designed to be a central operational hub for administration and infrastructure coordination. It also needs dedicated media space. We're talking studios for video, podcasts, and digital content creation. It requires technology workspaces for ongoing API and platform development, and crucially, it needs community anchors. This could be existing educational facilities or churches to host the OneGodian University sessions in person. To make this massive operational shift a reality, the project is actively seeking out aligned property owners, investors, and strategic partners who might have underutilized infrastructure to share.
So the crucial point is how they view this collaboration. When the ecosystem looks for partners to help build this physical headquarters, they don't frame contributions as charity. Not at all. They view them as investments. Real investments into people, into a much healthier civilization, and into a future where technology is genuinely human-centered, ethical, and rooted in shared dignity rather than division.
It really is an incredible story of independent creation, going from late nights with a single notebook back in 2001 to a vast digital ecosystem, and now pushing for a physical creative headquarters in 2026. Understand the story, support the mission, visit OneGodian.org, because looking at all this leaves us with a pretty profound question to chew on. If reality itself is an infrastructure we can architect, what part are you going to play in building it? Thanks for joining me on this explainer today, and as always, keep learning.